Here with the Rainier Avenue Radio Traffic Update. You can listen to us in your car 24/7 anytime by downloading the free TuneIn app. Once you do, search Rainier Avenue Radio. And remember, do not curse out your fellow drivers. This has been your Rainier Avenue Radio Traffic Update.
Welcome to the coronavirus pandemic. I'll take coronavirus for 100. Fever, chills, shortness of breath, loss of taste or smell. What is stay at home and isolate? Correct. Coronavirus for 200. Inability to stay awake, persistent pain or pressure in chest, trouble breathing. What is seek immediate help? Correct.
Coronavirus for 500.
Crippling and potentially dead infectious disease eliminated in the United States with vaccination.
What is the polio vaccine?
Correct.
I'll take coronavirus for 700.
The Daily Double! Should I take the coronavirus vaccine? Wait. Hold up. This is not a game. It's time for serious discussions. We have coronavirus vaccines, but not everyone is comfortable taking them. Here's the facts. Based on what has been proven about vaccines for other diseases, COVID-19 vaccine may help keep you from getting seriously ill, even if you do get the virus. Getting vaccinated also may protect people around, particularly those at greater risk for severe illness from COVID-19. We don't yet have all of the answers. Get informed, talk to your healthcare physician, and make the right decision for you. This is a message supported by the Washington State Department of Health.
Women are not an homogenous group.
We face discrimination differently depending on factors such as ethnicity, age, socioeconomic status, and more.
Rainier Avenue Radio is proud to amplify women's voices.
They are the experts of their own lives, initiating conversations within their community about challenges they face, the solutions they're working on, and the opportunities they see.
Please join us this Sunday from 2 to 5 for Women's Voices on Air. We know our challenges. We are the experts of our lives.
We are master multitaskers, prioritizing our family, friends, and our faith above our own needs.
Our needs and voices are too often overlooked.
Please join us this Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. for Women's Voices on Air.
We tell our stories in our own way.
Hi, I'm Paul Pearson of StarTime. Did you know that back in the 9th century, Rainier Avenue Radio was the host of the first annual Gregorian chant-off? Man, that was tight. Well, times have changed and so have we. Now you can hear all the great Rainier Avenue Radio shows on our mobile app for Android and iPhone. It's completely free on the Google Play Store and the iPhone App Store. The Rainier Avenue Radio app.
Do you want to reach out to the Vietnamese community in Seattle? Just advertise in Người Việt Tây Bắc, that is Northwest Vietnamese News, the longest running Vietnamese language newspaper in our region. Go to nvnorthwest.com.
Would you like to see when your favorite Rainier Avenue Radio show comes on? Check out our show schedule, updated weekly at rainieravenuradio.world.
Okay, well, why don't I do an acknowledgement? We want to take a moment to acknowledge that we are on the traditional land of the first people of Seattle, the Coast Salish people past and present, and honor with gratitude the land itself. We also acknowledge what happened on the land, this land here in Seattle, to impact the lives of the Black community due to redlining and displacement, resulting in less opportunity to pass down generational wealth. To share your own story of home or land loss in the central area of Seattle, please contact us here at Clean Greens on behalf of the Black Dollar Days Task Force King County Reparations Project.
Wow. Okay. Look, that was a pause. Anyways, announcement time. So our youth program, our what are we calling this? Intro orientation will be next month. On the 9th, the date is to be discussed. We'll let you know. We'll put the flyers up, but I want you to say the date, April 9th We will be having an orientation. I want to say all is welcome to get to know about the information, but we can only sign up 30 children. So if you know anyone who's interested in learning to farm or grow food or participate in our program, please contact us on social media or email us blackdollarcleangreens@gmail.com. We haven't really been doing much on the farm yet, but it's been raining. And out in Duval is a whole different ball game. So we will be planting soon. So volunteer time will be coming up soon. Do you have any announcements?
Yeah, we do have our CSA signups already up and running. So this year we have a CSA pickup point in the central area and at one of our partner spots up in Maple Leaf. So you can get a weekly share of produce, and that helps fund our free produce giveaway. You can also just donate if you're not in the area. If you're listening, if you're one of Rainier Avenue Radio's listeners from far away, we are giving out free produce in the central area of Seattle and beyond. And if you want to donate a share or just donate to our cause, you can do that. But if you're local and you want to get our great veggies, please sign up for the CSA, and you can do that on the website, cleangreensfarmmarket.com.
Look, I forgot to mention this. I'm so excited about our youth program, and we're going to be growing produce and flowers. I'm so excited to see how the flowers turn out. The sunflowers. What else do we get?
Like marigolds and some different type things that look like dahlias, but really when you get into that seed catalog, which we did this week with Farmer Tommy, he's going to put in the order right away of all of the things we requested, and we requested flowers and so many good veggies, and there's going to be some surprises this year. So if you want to put in your requests for things to grow, we'll do our best to get that in the ground for you.
Okay, so I'm super excited about our guest today. It's Women's History Month, and we haven't really been doing much about it. But when this guest confirmed, I was like, yes, this is a person I want to have conversations with about things that are happening in their community, and just being a woman, a Black woman in the community, at the forefront, leading by example. We have Trey Holiday on from Converge. She is not music. We were talking about music before the show came on. She is the host of Converge, and a producer. And she has many hats. I didn't bring my notes. I was not prepared today.
Right, we're in a small space right here, but
yes.
But Trey is also the media director for King County Equity Now, and an ambassador with Africatown Community Land Trust, a steward of the community with a passion for storytelling. And we are so happy to have you here. Welcome, Trey.
Yes, welcome, Trey.
Oh, wow. Thank you guys so much for that amazing intro. Appreciate you guys for the invite. Bree, we've been building a great relationship already. So it's just great to be with you guys today.
Yes. Welcome to my spot. I'm happy to have you here. I feel like a kid at school with my friend. I feel like my son. My friend's here.
Yes. I know it all too well. Absolutely.
But no, we like me and Robyn have been talking about you, and we have been admiring what you've been doing in the community, and just how sweet you are, like going to Converge, and she did some work with you. So it's like, let's have Trey on and let's have some girl talk.
Yes.
So what's been up? What have you been up to, Trey?
Oh my goodness. Let me tell you, it is a beautiful thing to be a part of community that you get to pour into every day. And I'm so grateful that, when people say, hey, if you do what you love, it doesn't feel like work. Yeah. So that's why it can bleed into the late night hours, because you're just wanting to get things done. We understand right now the community was in dire need of an advocacy wing. And so being a part of Africatown Community Land Trust in their early days of formulating the organization and looking at some of their development projects to build up their portfolio, I was really honored to be able to work alongside KY King Garrett and Momar Hermanstein. And they really helped me understand so much of my brilliance and how to bring it out into community. And so forming King County Equity Now, through that same network of Black-led organizing, decades of Black advocacy, we realized we need an actual advocacy org. So I'm really grateful, because now my work as media director at King County Equity Now, or KCEN, as some people say, allows me to do that work for all of the organizations that are really part of that ecosystem. And so we get to head up a lot of different campaigns for our organizations. We get to advocate for them at the state level, local level, when it comes to certain governmental things, legislative session that just passed, right? So really working to close the racial wealth divide, which is why equity is in our name. And then, of course, Converge Media is just a blast, right? You know,
Yeah.
being able to work alongside the genius that is Omari Salisbury and everything that he pours into Converge Media as a media personality, TV show host, and producer there, just allows me to be myself, you know, right? And put it out there. And I'm just so grateful when we hear all of the, you know, stories coming back to us of people in community just encouraging us to continue on because we really are there for them. So, you know, lots of hats, but it's just been an amazing thing to be a part of this community and to serve in that way.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I get it. I get what you're saying, because people are like, what do you do? They ask me this all the time. What do you do? Because I do a lot of different things, not as esteemed as yours, but I won't discount who I am and what
That's
I do.
right.
But it's fun. Like, even when I'm like, I want to take something off my plate, I can't, because it's fun, and everything we do is community led, community charged, and different things.
Yeah.
And it's important to do. What I love about Converge is you guys are unapologetic about your Black community. I love that. Like, I was there and I was listening to some of the stuff you said, and I was just like, yes, I love that about being unapologetic. And the last time I was there, the homeless was you guys had a recording of the homeless being mistreated. And so you guys really bring a lot of light to that. And I know some people are always scared to continue to do stuff like that, like bring light to the truth. But what makes you guys be like, nope, I don't care what happens, this is what it is?
Well, I think you have to be your authentic self, right? And so much of it is understanding the position that you're afforded, right? Like, it's a privilege to be able to have my perspective out there in that way, but it's also always remembering, like, what am I representing and who am I representing in this moment? So I think being connected to youth and elders really helps that grounding for me, and particularly in my approach. And I know for Omari, coming from this like journalistic integrity, we have to be really serious about the voice that is the void of Black community in major media. And so we really work in that regard as well to ensure that, you know, hey, we're talking about it from our own lived experience. We're talking about it from two kids who grew up in the Central District, went to James A. Garfield, right? Like, we always talk about that, but it's because it really is cementing to who we are and really helps to shape our perspective. So, you know, if we're not doing that, we're doing the whole platform a disservice. And I think in terms of any partner that we work with, it's being intentional with them up front to understand this is who we are going to be. So if you want to work with us, partner with us, advertise with us, whatever it is, at the end of the day, you got to know that first and foremost. And so it's a beautiful thing to be able to do that. But you're right. I think it's just maintaining your authenticity out there.
Yep, I love that. I got thousands of questions. I don't want to monopolize. Do you have any?
Well, I know what you wanted to ask, a couple of things, and I was curious too. So it definitely comes through what you were just describing, and it's always been, you know, super inspiring to watch right from the beginning of Converge, just to watch it grow and see you doing everything you're doing in the community. And we were curious too, like, where do you get your foundation of who inspired you, especially as a woman? Like, you know, who do you draw from, you know, somebody you looked up to that you're like, that's the model of integrity. I'm gonna be like that, and then put your own spin on it.
Well, that's a great question. Honestly, I come from a strong maternal background, right? So I'll say, you know, first and foremost is probably my mother. She was a family support worker at Madrona K8 at TT Minor for a while, and then Madrona K8 for many years. So watching her take on this torch to help families in the community. And, you know, regardless of what the job parameters were, my mother was like, it doesn't matter. You know, I'm not one of those people who's like, that's not my job. Don't ask me. It's not my job. She would find a way to be there and support families. And so I think seeing that as an example in my life, because she was so supportive of us as children, my father was there to support us, but my mom really like carried a certain torch in community that I just thought was so dope, right? And I'd be at her job all the time, and they knew me up there because I, you know, for a minute I worked with her at TT Minor running an after school program for acting. And So I'll say that I know my mom has a strong influence on me. And my grandmother owned a business. She was like Jerry Curl Queen in the 80s, I say, and I keep saying it because she really was, right? Had a shop right on Union. And so I just got to see them be their authentic selves, right? And then I will say, in terms of a young person. I mean, I went to Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry, and I was in the 5th grade, and it was a play. And Felicia Loud, for anybody who knows Miss Felicia Loud, amazing actress, amazing singer. She is, co-creator of Black Stacks musical group, and she does acting all over, and just has, ever since I was first introduced to her. And I remember seeing her in the play. And I was there with my class, and I was just mind blown because she was amazing with her acting, amazing with her singing. And I'm so grateful that I've gotten to build a friendship with her over the years, work with her on productions, and really see her talent, just flourish. But that was the first time that I was like, I think I want to do the acting and stuff. So I started at 9 years old, just kind of acting and modeling. And she was a strong influence that got me kind of like saying, I need to do this, right? I need to figure out my way. And from there, it grew into this like media person you see today. But it really was, years of that kind of consistency and hard work.
Nice. Me too. And I love that you're like my mother, my grandmother. I love that because that's how I feel too about my family. It's my mother, my grandmother, my auntie. I grew up with strong black women. And when we talk about that, even leading to that strong black women, I have, like we were talking before, I haven't really been following the Supreme, what am I trying to say? Supreme Court judge. Okay, I was making sure. Yeah, Ketanji. The little clips that I've been seeing have been pissing me off. So I knew I can't watch it because I was like, I would have been done cussed them out and said, forget this. This is not for me. I am not the black woman that you wanted. But she has been holding her head. Sorry. It's like, it be real. Because I mean, like, I'm like, the world is seeing like firsthand what black women, okay, we could say women, but black women go through. She is overqualified, being interviewed by dummies that are barely qualified for the positions they hold. And so it just made me think like all the things that I've been through as a black woman, and we have you on the show, and you are like such a huge leader in the community. And so just thinking about the things that you have to go through, how do you navigate that? And have you even seen that? Like how?
Oh, goodness. Yeah. So we carried a little bit on the show this morning, and I got into a good discussion with Julia Jesse from Clapback Culture about this because Julia's been following it really closely. And for me, I really settle on positivity as much as I possibly can. I think I really follow certain characteristics and principles in my life that tell me to be peaceful in the midst of any situation. But it's not just for the other person, it's for me, right?
Yeah.
Like, so it's helpful to me. So as I was hearing this berating of Ketanji, Brown Jackson, and I'm like, wow, they're really coming for her. But she was even killed. She kept her cool. I think it's really important for them to be able to see that because we have to do so much work to to showcase a different narrative than the angry black woman, right? Like that's just like a real thing. So I really try to carry myself in a peaceful manner. And some of these things have gotten to, some real contentious points in community. I mean, you're talking about, land development that, black community was never really a part of. So now we're embarking on territory where there's a lot of white males that are dominant in that space. They're used to being dominant in that space. And now they got to make room for black groups coming in to say, we know what our community needs better than you, and we're going to build it, right? Yeah. We actually need you to just kind of step aside. Maybe you're partnering with us in some way because of the ways that these development projects happen. But so much of it is about educating. We're in a real time of awakening right now. And I think that that's why I love seeing this process unfold with Ketanji, because ultimately for us to have gone all these years of the establishment of this country and never having a black woman in the Supreme Court level is really huge. So I'm just really excited for her. Love how Cory Booker really brought in that joy piece, which I think is so key, to just celebrate the moment, right? I mean, this is not a loss of power for Republicans necessarily. So it should be a much easier win. But we understand that when we're talking about a lot of equity measures, it's making others uncomfortable that have not had to deal with that. So it's kind of putting certain things in the face of those that now need to reconcile with, oh man, this country is built kind of inequitably. Well, now you have to do something different about it. So this awakening period that we're in is just a kind of sign of the times, a certain zeitgeist that I think is really key when we see this kind of process happen. And for me personally, it's, just maintaining my peace. I'm built from a peace that nothing can disturb, right? So I got to carry that forward.
I feel like I am sometimes, but when I was up there watching her, I was getting mad for her. Like, I had just had a conversation with my daughter last night because, we were rambling about how when people say things, and I've always been the type of person, like, you can say whatever you want to about me as long as you're not in my face. You could be right there and you can say whatever, but once you get here is when I may hit a switch. But majority of the times I'm like, I don't really care what people are saying about me or doing, but that level of disrespect was just making me so mad. But see, I love that we have people like you in the community that's like, no, sister, it's okay. It's going to be good. This is a good thing. And what I love about it is watching the look on her daughter's face as she sits there and watch her mom. And so the message is, even though I was getting pissed. The message is too, you got to keep your peace because your children are watching.
Yeah. Plus, it's better for you. I mean, if you start thinking about the biochemical effects of all of the things that stress, anxiety, fear, worry, grief, these things that are like negative emotions that they pile into our bodies, it's a release of cortisol. It really is, we know a lot of Black women suffer from fibroids and other things, and they're starting to now connect it to these kind of emotional responses that we have in our lives. If we just maintain peace and go from peace to joy and joy to peace, back and forth, that's really essentially what happiness is. And so I think our ancestors, really understood that wholeheartedly. So original societies were kind of built like that. And I think we need to open that knowledge up more. You know what I mean? We need to share that more because it's not just good for, the people around you, but biologically it's good for you as well. So yeah, maintain that peace.
Yes.
I feel you though.
No,
I do.
No,
I
I normally do, but I was like, look,
they were off the chain.
Off the chain. And not even that. It's like I usually maintain the peace. But I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of that stigma of angry Black women. You guys got us messed up and you need to take a chill. But you're right, sis. You're right. Maintain that peace.
I am so curious too, because with the frustration and with that, you are able to maintain the peace for yourself because you know the effects. But what got you to the place? And maybe you were one of those, maybe you were, peaceful in another life or something. So you're already there, right? you did that work or something. But how would you say to cultivate that for somebody who is like, I need to express my anger and I don't know what to do with this right now, to help themselves just not experience that and get to that peace, joy, pendulum? What advice do you have in a practical way for people who are still like, I'm feeling angry?
Before you answer that, if you're just tuning in, you are tuning in to Clean Greens Living Live, broadcasted on Rainier Avenue Radio. It is your host, Queen Bree and Robyn T, and our special guest, Trey Holiday. Okay, go.
Yeah. I love radio so much.
Right.
It's so cool. It definitely was for me a practice. It was a cultivation of it because I didn't have that understanding before. And then starting to learn more and more and then put it into practice. Meditation is key. We don't talk about it enough. I think in generalistic society, Western society has us very much in a consumer-based reality, right? And we're on our phones all the time. Where this digitization of our world is real. But I had to do some specific things and really visualize myself responding in peace when it comes to certain situations. So if you can predict, like, this person is kind of a trigger for me, or this situation is a trigger for me, then I need to take those things into meditation and visualize myself responding peacefully. And it works, right? Like that idea that like I'm visualizing to realize something and actualize it in my life is real. But again, just really taking reading and learning more about the ways that first civilizations were built in ancient Kemet, which is such a people just don't talk about it a lot, but it's out there. And I'm really a proponent of that study and that work. And there was some intentionality there. There's also herbs you can take and certain foods you can eat, and, having a balanced diet so that you're not, more prone to produce more fire in your body, right? When you're talking about kind of like your chi force or your life force, right? It's very elemental. And so, maybe you need a little bit more wood to balance out, some of the fire. Maybe you need, so there's certain things that you can do and herbs you can intake and certain supplements you can have. So it's a whole host of things, but it's a lot of knowledge, but it really starts from just visualizing yourself being peaceful in the midst of certain situations.
Nice, good.
Yeah, that's real.
Like, I need that reminder. I feel like I started off peaceful, but now as I get older, I'm like, yeah, no, y'all got me messed up. But I'm not as crazy as I sound right now. I promise you guys I ain't. But I am getting there. So I'm glad we had this conversation. Like, no, the world is gonna hear me and they're gonna hear me roar. And I am a Black woman, and you can say I'm angry if you want to. But you know what? You're right. It is about maintaining that peace, because when I do, like I told my daughter last night, when I take myself there, you don't feel good.
You don't feel good.
You feel sick. You feel lightheaded.
Oh
Like, I got into a stupid, I will say debate, not argument, about something early this week. And I wasn't, and you got to stay woke. You got to stay guarded, because I wasn't guarded. Normally I answer questions directly, but then I was just like, you know what? I'm tired of playing it cool. You're going to hear my voice.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't raise my voice, but still the whole conversation took so much out of me.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you know what? I can't do this no more. But when I seen that congressman, I was like, I got up there again.
Well, look, I mean, we're talking about Women's History Month, and I think it's so important because a lot of times the women in society are the nurturers. Like, right, we give birth, we nurse our children, we nurture, our families and our children and our friends. I mean, so much of it is about us being healthy. And there's a wide variety of ways to do that, right? Whether it's like you do yoga, you do some meditation. Now I'm learning about Qigong, right? People do Tai Chi. There's a lot of different things that you can just be doing in terms of a practice to really balance yourself out and balance those energies. But, it's us being healthy. I think it's a real key component, particularly when we're hearing certain things coming out from the South once again about, abortions. I mean, we go there because it's just, how can we repeal something? I get it. We don't want to be, I guess, taking a child's life, but it's one of those things where it's also about the woman's body and that choice. And the death penalty is like the ultimate punishment, really. And so it's saying a lot what Texas is doing right now. So I think it's important when we talk about kind of, women coming together and thinking about the health of ourselves. How are we doing that? And it's important for us to do it.
And I feel you on that. Like that boils me too, because it's like at the end of the day, you want to tell them what they can and can't do with their body. But if they keep the baby, what are you doing to help them? Like,
where's the resources?
Where's resources, and where's the accountability for the person who got them in this predicament? And then it's like,
that part,
right? It's like there's so many, and I feel like that's why I'm getting angry, because like I be riding hard for my ladies, and I'm like, the disrespect that this country does to not just Black women but women in general. Like, I worked in housing, and just watching these families struggle. And then it's like in Seattle, I feel like the more kids you have, the harder it is to find housing, because they're only making 2-3 bedrooms. And so then to police somebody's body, to tell them you can't, and abortions are not easy.
Mm-hmm.
They are not easy. They make it seem like, no, it is not an easy decision.
And they're still getting, the ones making the decisions are still getting abortions for the people that they get pregnant.
Right.
So there we go.
That they get pregnant in secret. Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it seems like it is not even that it's really going away. It seems like it's just going away for the poor people. Because the rich people always gonna make sure they have an option to get their mistress taken care of, or that young child that they done touched taken care of. If we want to be real.
Yeah.
But sorry, we took it there. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's
women.
Right. It's Women's History Month, and it is true. And I like that you bring in that health piece, because we on Clean Greens, we do talk about the health piece. we love our community and we love making sure that our community eats healthy. So I like how you touched on, as women, we got to make sure that we're taking care of their body. One of the things that I do to help me stay zen is I meditate and I listen to church music. And lately I've been lighting candles. It is something peaceful about
And
lighting
you're
a
gonna
good
be a
candle.
plant mom now.
I'm going to be a plant mom. As soon as I find a low maintenance plant
Yeah.
that doesn't require too much attention. But yes, I am going to work on that this weekend. So
I love these messages, though. I'm glad. I didn't know we were going to get into this today, and I love it too because I'm a big proponent of meditation, and prioritizing it though is the thing.
Yeah.
Because we're going to be busy all the time. You have 4 children. You know, we all have responsibilities, and you have to say, like, you can't get that peace if you don't say, I have to carve that time, or I have to say no to this other thing, or I have to schedule my workday at this time instead of that. So
right. And just one thing, and then I want to leave it to you because we're running out of time. Is like, I noticed as myself as a mother and a wife, constantly saying yes to my family, compromising what I would like. It's as simple as my son wanting to change the Netflix to his picture and his name and all this stuff. And it's like, you will ask me my opinion, I'll give it. And then you're like, no, I want to do this. And I noticed that everyone in my family does it, and I allow them to do that. So for my women, I want you to leave room for you to say yes to yourself and no to your family. And not in a bad way, but that's another way of keeping peace, because I feel like that's another reason why I don't know why I'm raging so much right now, but
let's give you equity in your own social scenario. That's fine.
Yeah, but I'm just like, I've noticed, like, for women, like, when we talk about Women's Month, we give so much. Like you said, we're the nurturers, and we were raised to think that the men were the provider. They're the provider, but we're the nurturers, and that takes a lot more. And so say yes to yourself. Leave us with some words of wisdom, girl.
Oh man, you guys, this has been so amazing. I really appreciate the opportunity. I think it's as we talk about, Women's History Month, I think it's important that we really think about how we are caring for ourselves and really create that routine for yourself. And you're saying, Robyn, you do have to carve out that time. I love to start my day before I get out of bed with, let me get a few minutes in. Let me get, 10, 20 minutes of, solid meditation, and just to start myself off right. And when I start going out of whack, and it'd be honest, the last couple of weeks, I've been so busy. I've been really out of whack, missing certain things. But, you get with a solid kind of schedule, and that really helps you ultimately to maintain your peace and also your health, right? And then when you know that you have a practice that's just like unhealthy, but it's like maybe it's your guilty pleasure, start finding an, positive and healthy alternative for it, right? So, with me, potato chips, it's a real thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Like, I mean, salty snacks, Lay's in particular, right? So I'm like, you know what? That's okay. Now, I got the little pea pods, right? The little snaps. Okay, that's cool. It gives me a little something, a little bit of a crunch, but you just find some ways to be alternative with your healthy options. Clean greens. Of course, you guys are all about health. So love being here to at least share some of the ways I do that.
You did. And we appreciate it. Well, thanks for joining us. We always appreciate you. You guys, look, can we tell people to go follow you? Go follow Trey Holiday. She has she always serving looks. She's always talking about the community and talking about current events. So please go join her and check out Converge Media.
Yes. Thank you guys so much.
You're welcome.